Africa's wild landscapes are places of breathtaking beauty, from the lush, water-soaked channels of the Okavango Delta, where papyrus reeds sway and hippos carve silent paths through the water, to the endless golden plains of the Serengeti, where millions of hooves drum a steady rhythm across the grasslands, and the horizon shimmers with the heat of the midday sun. Yet beneath this stunning veneer lies a world of constant pressure, where every creature is acutely attuned to the subtlest changes in scent, sound, and shadow. This is not a balanced, peaceful kingdom, but a dynamic arena where every single day is a profound test, and the margin for error is razor-thin. Here, life operates under a simple yet brutal rule: adapt or disappear. The relentless arms race between predator and prey drives the evolution of speed, stealth, and strategy. Every animal, from the smallest dung beetle rolling its prize across the earth to the largest elephant shaping the landscape, is locked in a relentless struggle for existence, each with its own specialized adaptations. Survival is a full-time occupation, demanding constant vigilance, remarkable ingenuity, and an unwavering drive to see the next sunrise. Meerkats post sentinels to scan for aerial threats, while antelope rely on acute hearing and coordinated group behavior to detect danger. The rules are written not in ink, but in the ancient rhythms of predator and prey, of drought and flood, of abundance and scarcity. Each season brings new challenges, forcing animals to adjust their behaviors and strategies. In these vast ecosystems, survival is a complex calculation of energy. Migratory herds must anticipate the shifting patterns of rainfall, moving hundreds of kilometers to find fresh grazing and water. Every calorie gained from a meal must be weighed against the energy spent to find it and the risk taken to acquire it. Cheetahs, for example, must hunt during the cooler hours to avoid overheating, while lions often scavenge to conserve energy. A lioness must decide if the potential reward of a buffalo calf is worth the danger of confronting a protective herd, whose coordinated defense can turn the tables on even the most skilled predator. A zebra must balance its need for water against the lurking threat of a crocodile hidden beneath the surface, relying on vigilance and the safety of numbers to minimize risk. This is a world governed by timing, where a split-second decision can mean the difference between life and death. Impalas rely on explosive bursts of speed and unpredictable leaps to evade capture. The arrival of the rains transforms the landscape, triggering migrations, breeding events, and a surge of new life. For many species, timing reproduction to coincide with resource abundance is critical for offspring survival. The crossing of a river is a perilous ordeal where wildebeest and zebras must brave strong currents and lurking predators, with only the fittest making it to the other side. The moment of a pounce is the culmination of hours of patience, stealth, and calculation, as predators exploit every advantage to secure a meal. All are critical junctures in a continuous drama that has unfolded for millions of years, shaping the instincts and behaviors of every species. The continent presents a mosaic of extreme environments, each demanding a unique set of survival skills. From the arid deserts to the flooded wetlands, every habitat tests its inhabitants in distinct ways. In the Serengeti, life is dictated by the constant flowing movement of the Great Migration, a tide of flesh and bone that follows the rains, with predators shadowing the herds in search of opportunity. In the arid furnace of the Namibia desert, creatures have evolved extraordinary abilities to endure blistering heat and find water where none seems to exist. Oryx can survive for weeks without drinking, while beetles harvest moisture from morning fog. Meanwhile, the Okavango Delta, a paradoxical oasis that floods during the dry season, forces its inhabitants to become masters of both land and water. Lechwe antelope have elongated hooves for swimming, and elephants navigate shifting channels to access food. Each habitat is a unique puzzle, and the animals that live there are the living, breathing solutions to its challenges. Specialized adaptations, like the giraffe's long neck or the pangoline's armored scales, are the result of countless generations of natural selection. This endless cycle of struggle and adaptation has forged some of the most spectacular creatures on our planet, each uniquely equipped to exploit its ecological niche. They are not merely inhabitants of their environment, they are its architects and its engineers, its hunters and its gardeners. Elephants reshape forests, termites aerate the soil, and predators regulate prey populations. An elephant's search for water can create a new waterhole for dozens of other species, providing a lifeline during the harshest months. A vulture's flight signals the end of one life, but the continuation of many others, as scavengers and decomposers recycle nutrients back into the ecosystem. To understand Africa's wild, we must look beyond the individual and see the intricate web of connections that binds every living thing. Mutualism, competition, and commensalism all play vital roles in maintaining ecological balance. It is a story of interdependence, where the fate of the hunter is tied to the health of the hunted, and the survival of all depends on the resilience of the whole system. Every adaptation, every behavior, and every interaction is a testament to the ingenuity of life in Africa's wild. Nowhere does the struggle for existence play out on a grander scale than across the endless plains of the Serengeti. Each year, these grasslands become the stage for one of nature's most astonishing phenomena, the Great Migration, a living tide of hooves and horns that surges across the Savanna. Over 1 million wildebeest, joined by hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles, set out on a relentless circular odyssey that spans over 2,000 kilometers, tracing the rhythm of the rains. Their journey is dictated by the pulse of the ecosystem, fresh grass sprouting after the rains, water holes replenished, and the promise of sustenance drawing them ever onward. This migration is a test of endurance and instinct, where only the most resilient can keep pace, and the vulnerable are quickly exposed to the dangers that stalk the rear. Moving as a single undulating mass, the herd becomes a living entity, its collective motion carving new paths, trampling old ones, and shaping the very face of the land. The true genius of this migration lies in the overwhelming density of animals. In such numbers, the herd becomes a fortress, its sheer size diluting the risk for each individual. For a solitary wildebeest, the open plain is a gauntlet of peril, every shadow a potential threat, every movement a possible predator. But within the throng, the odds shift dramatically. Predators like lions and cheetahs, though formidable, are forced to choose from a sea of potential targets, making it far less likely for any one animal to be singled out. This is the essence of safety in numbers, a strategy as old as life itself, where the group's unity becomes its shield. The Serengeti's herds are not homogeneous. Wildebeest, zebras and gazelles intermingle, each species bringing unique strengths to the alliance. Wildebeest rely on acute hearing and a powerful sense of smell to detect danger, though their vision is limited. Zebras, in contrast, possess panoramic vision, able to spot movement across nearly the entire horizon, alerting the herd to threats from any direction. By feeding and moving together, these animals form a living network of vigilance, where the senses of one species compensate for the limitations of another, creating a sophisticated early warning system. Yet this collective defense is not without its cost. The herd's momentum is unyielding, and those unable to match its pace are left behind, exposed to the ever-watchful eyes of predators. The old, the sick, and the very young are often abandoned, their fate sealed by the herd's indifference and the unforgiving laws of nature. The migration's relentless tempo acts as a living sieve, filtering out the weak and ensuring that only the most robust individuals endure the journey. An exhausted calf or an injured adult, unable to keep pace, quickly finds itself alone, its isolation a silent invitation to the predators that shadow the herd. For lions and cheetahs, these stragglers represent opportunity, a chance to strike with minimal risk as the herd surges onward, oblivious Thus, the migration is a paradox. Its strength lies in unity, yet it is this very unity that enforces a brutal selection, ensuring that only the fittest survive to continue the cycle. The journey's most perilous moments come at the rivers, where the herds must gather and cross together, their numbers both a shield and a source of chaos. At the water's edge, tension mounts. The pressure of thousands behind and the uncertainty ahead create a volatile mix of fear and urgency. Beneath the surface, Nile crocodiles, some of the largest reptiles on the continent, wait in ambush, perfectly attuned to the annual arrival of their prey. As the first animals leap into the water, the herd's cohesion shatters. Panic erupts and the once unified mass fragments into desperate individuals, each struggling for survival. In the frenzy, animals trample and collide, the river churning with confusion and fear as the instinct to survive overrides all order. Here, predators claim their due. Crocodiles strike with explosive force, and the river exacts a heavy toll. A stark reminder that even the mightiest herds cannot guarantee safety for all. In Africa's wild heart, survival is a privilege earned anew each day. Across the vast, sun-drenched plains of Africa, the relationship between predator and prey is a perpetual, intricate ballet, one choreographed by millions of years of evolution. Every moment, every movement, is a calculated risk, a test of survival that leaves no room for error. For the predators, the hunt is a symphony of patience, power, and precision. Each muscle tensed, each breath measured, they wait for the perfect opportunity, sometimes for hours, hidden by the golden grass. Their senses finely attuned to the subtlest shift in the wind or the faintest rustle of hooves. A pride of lions, for instance, does not recklessly charge a consolidated herd of buffalo. Instead, they approach with calculated caution, reading the mood of the herd, gauging the distance and communicating silently through subtle glances and tail flicks. Lionesses, the primary hunters, are masters of observation. They lie low, eyes fixed on the herd, scanning for any sign of vulnerability, a limp, a lagging step, a momentary lapse in vigilance. The predators seek out the weak, the old, the young, or the distracted, those who stray even a few meters from the safety of the group. In these moments, the margin between life and death narrows to a heartbeat. The hunt is a display of remarkable coordination. Lionesses fan out, each knowing her role. Some drive the herd, others flank, and a few lie in ambush. Their silent teamwork creates confusion, isolating their chosen target with relentless efficiency. Yet the prey are far from passive. Over countless generations, they have honed a sophisticated arsenal of defensive tactics. Herds of impala, wildebeest, and zebra remain perpetually vigilant, their survival dependent on collective awareness and lightning-fast reactions. When threatened, a herd of Cape buffalo transforms into a living fortress. Their unity is their shield, their numbers a deterrent to even the boldest predators. The bulls, massive and heavily horned, form a protective barrier around the vulnerable cows and calves. Their eyes scan the horizon, nostrils flaring, ready to defend their kin with explosive force. A coordinated charge from the herd can scatter even the most determined lions, sending them fleeing in a cloud of dust and thunderous hooves. Sometimes a failed attack triggers a dramatic reversal. The hunted become the hunters as buffalo surge forward in a furious counterattack, their unity and aggression overwhelming the would-be predators. This ever-shifting balance of power is a testament to the courage and cooperation found on both sides. Each encounter is a test of strategy, strength, and resolve. At the river's edge, the rules change. Here, a different predator reigns, and the risks multiply. The Nile crocodile, a living relic from the age of dinosaurs, is the master of ambush. Its armored body and ancient instincts make it a formidable force in the aquatic realm. Weighing over 1,000 kilograms with jaws capable of crushing bone, the crocodile is the undisputed apex predator of the riverbanks. Its patience is legendary. It can remain motionless for hours, blending seamlessly with the muddy water. To the untrained eye, it appears as nothing more than a floating log. But for the animals that must drink, every approach to the water is fraught with peril. They scan the surface, sniff the air, and listen for the faintest ripple. When the moment comes, the attack is a blur of violence. The crocodile erupts from the water with astonishing speed, jaws snapping shut with a force that brooks no escape. The victim is seized and dragged into the depths, the struggle brief and brutal. The river, so vital to life, becomes a stage for sudden death. The crocodile's infamous death roll is a marvel of evolutionary engineering. By spinning its entire body, it tears flesh and bone with ruthless efficiency, a technique unchanged for millions of years. This relentless contest for survival shapes every aspect of life on the savanna. Predator and prey are locked in a cycle of adaptation, each driving the other to new heights of cunning and resilience. Prey animals have evolved extraordinary senses. Their ears swivel independently, capturing the faintest sounds. Their eyes, set wide apart, offer a panoramic view, detecting the slightest movement in the grass. Their bodies are tuned for flight, muscles coiled, nerves taut, always ready to bolt at the first sign of danger. Predators, too, are specialists. The cheetah's slender frame and oversized lungs fuel the fastest land sprint on Earth, but only for a few heartbeats. The leopard, solitary and secretive, melts into the shadows, striking from cover with silent precision. Lions, the only truly social big cats, rely on teamwork and strategy to bring down prey many times their size. In this world, there are no villains or victims, only survivors. Each animal, whether hunter or hunted, plays a vital role in the grand, ever-evolving tapestry of life. The dance of life and death is unending, a testament to the resilience, ingenuity, and raw beauty of Africa's wild. Across the vast African savanna, size and memory are two of the most formidable tools for survival. Here, the largest land animals on Earth use their physical presence and remarkable intelligence to shape the world around them and secure their place within it. The African elephant, weighing up to 6 tons and standing 4 meters tall at the shoulder, is a living colossus. Its immense bulk alone deters even the most ambitious predators, making it virtually untouchable in adulthood. Every step of this giant is powered by dense muscle and reinforced bone, allowing it to traverse great distances in search of food and water, and to manipulate its environment with ease. Elephant herds are guided by the matriarch, the oldest and most experienced female. Her leadership is not based on strength, but on the depth of her memory and the wisdom she has accumulated over decades. The matriarch's memory is a living archive, holding the locations of waterholes that remain hidden during droughts, and recalling the safest routes across the landscape, knowledge that can mean the difference between life and death for her family. She leads her herd along ancient migratory paths to the richest feeding grounds, ensuring that each member has access to the resources they need to thrive. Her recollection of past dangers, such as the territories of lions or the presence of poachers, enables her to steer the herd away from threats, using both memory and acute senses to keep them safe. Elephants are ecosystem engineers, actively transforming their surroundings. Their size allows them to break branches, uproot trees, and dig into the earth, actions that have far-reaching effects on the landscape. With their powerful trunks and tusks, they excavate dry riverbeds to access underground water, creating life-sustaining pools that become vital resources for countless other animals during the dry season. By toppling trees to reach nutritious leaves, elephants open up the dense bush, allowing sunlight to reach the ground and encouraging the growth of new grasses and plants. These newly created clearings become feeding grounds for smaller herbivores, such as antelope and zebra, who rely on the fresh vegetation that follows in the elephant's wake. The trails elephants carve through thick vegetation become essential corridors for other wildlife, providing safe passage and connecting distant parts of the ecosystem. Without elephants, the balance of the savanna would collapse. Their absence would trigger a chain reaction, altering plant growth, reducing biodiversity, and transforming the very character of the land. Communication is another domain where memory and intelligence shine. Elephants use infrasound, deep, low-frequency rumbles, to send messages across kilometers, coordinating movements, reuniting separated family members, and alerting others to distant dangers. The giraffe, towering above the savanna at up to 6 meters, leverages its extraordinary height as both a vantage point and a feeding advantage. With a sweeping view of the landscape, giraffes can detect predators from afar, giving them and nearby animals early warning and precious time to react. Their elongated necks, supported by powerful muscles and specialized vertebrae, allow them to browse on leaves high in the acacia trees, accessing a food source unavailable to most other herbivores. Yet, this adaptation comes with a cost. Lowering their heads to drink exposes giraffes to danger, as their long legs and neck make it difficult to rise quickly if threatened. To reach water, a giraffe must awkwardly splay its legs and bend down, a vulnerable posture that predators may exploit. However, giraffes are not defenseless. Their legs are capable of delivering powerful kicks, strong enough to break bones and even kill a lion if threatened. The hippopotamus, though often seen resting in rivers and lakes, is another example of how size can be a shield. Its barrel-shaped body and thick skin make it a daunting presence in the water. Despite their seemingly docile appearance, hippos possess immense strength and aggression, especially when defending their territory or young. On land, hippos can outrun a human over short distances, and in water they are agile and fiercely territorial, using their size to intimidate rivals and intruders. Male hippos, or bulls, are especially aggressive, using their massive canine teeth, sometimes exceeding 1/2 meter in length, to assert dominance and defend their stretch of river. Their jaws are among the most powerful in the animal kingdom, capable of crushing bone and even splitting a canoe in two with a single bite. For the hippo, survival is about maintaining control over its aquatic domain. Its size, strength, and territorial instincts combine to make it one of Africa's most formidable and respected animals, perfectly adapted to the challenges of its environment. In the African ecosystem, nothing is ever truly wasted. Every fallen creature, every scrap of flesh, and every bone is destined to play a crucial role in the ongoing cycle of life and death. Death here is not a final curtain, but a vital transformation, an intricate transfer of energy that sustains countless other lives. The remains of one animal become the foundation for a thriving community of recyclers. This essential process is orchestrated by a remarkable cast of scavengers, creatures uniquely adapted to exploit what others leave behind, and whose presence is fundamental to the health of the land. When a wildebeest succumbs to exhaustion, or a lion's hunt ends in a kill, the savanna's cleanup crew is never far behind. Their arrival is as predictable as the sunrise, and just as necessary. High above, vultures ride invisible columns of warm air, their wings outstretched as they scan the plains for the faintest sign of a meal. Their ability to soar for hours with minimal effort is a marvel of avian engineering. With eyesight among the sharpest in the animal kingdom, vultures can detect a carcass from several kilometers away, even spotting the subtle movements of other scavengers as they gather. Their spiraling descent is a signal to all. A feast is about to begin. The first to land are often the largest and most dominant, but soon a diverse assembly of species will converge. Africa is home to a variety of vulture species, each with its own specialized role. From the robust lappet-faced vulture to the agile hooded vulture, their differences allow them to exploit every part of a carcass with minimal competition. The lappet-faced vulture, with its immense size and formidable beak, is often the first to tackle the toughest hides. Its powerful jaws can rip through skin and sinew that would defeat lesser birds. This vulture is one of the few capable of opening the thick, leathery hides of buffalo, or even elephants, making it a true pioneer at the carcass. Once the initial barrier is breached, smaller vultures gather, waiting for their opportunity. The lappet-faced vulture's work is the key that unlocks the banquet for all. White-backed and Ripple's griffon vultures, with their long, featherless necks, reach deep into the carcass to extract nutritious organs and muscle. Their bare skin helps prevent infection, a vital adaptation for their grisly diet. Each species targets different tissues. Some specialize in muscle, others in softer organs, ensuring that every edible part is consumed. This division of labor means that a large carcass can be reduced to bare bones in a matter of hours. On the ground, the spotted hyena is a force to be reckoned with. Its reputation as a mere scavenger belies its true nature as both a skilled hunter and a master recycler. Hyenas are responsible for the majority of their own meals, using complex social strategies and remarkable endurance to hunt prey. Yet, their scavenging abilities are unmatched. Their jaws are among the most powerful of any mammal, capable of cracking open bones that even lions cannot break. This allows them to access marrow, a rich source of fat and nutrients. A hyena can shatter bones as thick as a giraffe's femur, consuming fragments that are digested by their highly acidic stomachs. Even the toughest remains are no match for their relentless efficiency. By the time hyenas are finished, little is left but dust. Their digestive systems are so thorough that even bone fragments are broken down, returning vital minerals to the soil through their droppings. This relentless recycling is essential for the savanna's health. By removing decaying flesh and bone, scavengers prevent the spread of disease and keep the landscape clean for all inhabitants. Without these recyclers, carcasses would linger, attracting swarms of flies and fostering dangerous bacteria. Outbreaks of anthrax, botulism, and other deadly diseases could devastate animal populations. Vultures and hyenas, working in tandem, are the savanna's sanitation specialists. Their tireless efforts ensure that nutrients are swiftly returned to the ecosystem, supporting new growth and sustaining herbivores and predators alike. Far from being mere undertakers, these animals are the architects of renewal, unsung heroes whose work underpins the very fabric of African life, ensuring that the circle of existence remains unbroken and ever-renewing. While lions are renowned for their formidable teamwork and raw power, Africa's wilds are also shaped by predators who have evolved extraordinary, highly specialized hunting strategies, each uniquely adapted to their environment and prey. The cheetah, a marvel of evolutionary engineering, is built for explosive acceleration and unmatched velocity. Its slender frame, lightweight bones, and elongated limbs minimize resistance, allowing it to reach speeds up to 112 kilometers per hour. With semi-retractable claws for extra grip and large nasal passages to maximize oxygen intake, the cheetah can surge from 0 to highway speeds in mere seconds, outpacing any other land animal. Its pursuit is a spectacle of precision and timing, muscles coiled and released in perfect harmony, spine flexing like a spring, each stride covering up to 7 meters. The chase is brief, rarely exceeding 60 seconds, as the cheetah's body overheats rapidly, forcing it to end the pursuit quickly, either in triumph or exhaustion. During the chase, its long, muscular tail acts as a dynamic counterbalance, enabling razor-sharp turns at full speed. With a swift swipe, it trips its quarry, then delivers a suffocating bite to the throat, ending the hunt with clinical efficiency. This high-octane strategy comes at a cost. After a successful hunt, the cheetah is left utterly spent, its breathing labored, muscles trembling, and it must rest before it can even begin to feed, leaving it vulnerable to scavengers. In stark contrast, the leopard is a master of concealment and patience. Its rosette-patterned coat blends seamlessly with the dappled shadows of dense bush and rocky terrain, rendering it nearly invisible to both prey and rival predators. Solitary by nature, the leopard relies on stealth rather than speed. It spends hours, sometimes even days, observing its chosen prey, memorizing routines and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. With each step, the leopard moves silently, muscles rippling beneath its skin, paws placed with surgical precision to avoid snapping twigs or rustling leaves. When the opportunity arises, the attack is sudden and explosive, a blur of muscle and claws. The leopard closes the gap in a heartbeat, overwhelming its prey with sheer force. Unmatched in strength for its size, the leopard can drag prey heavier than itself up into the safety of tree branches, hoisting carcasses meters above the ground to avoid detection and theft. This arboreal prowess ensures its meal remains out of reach from opportunistic lions and hyenas who often patrol the ground below, hoping for scraps to fall. Among Africa's predators, the African wild dog stands out for its extraordinary social structure and relentless endurance. These canids hunt in tightly coordinated packs, each member playing a specific role. Some drive the prey, others flank, and a few block escape routes, creating a living net that tightens with every stride. Communication is constant and sophisticated, with a chorus of yips, chirps, and whines relaying information about direction, distance, and the condition of the prey. Unlike the cheetah's sprint, wild dogs rely on stamina, pursuing their quarry over vast distances, sometimes 10 kilometers or more, maintaining a relentless pace that few animals can withstand. Their hunts are often a relay, with individuals taking turns at the front, allowing the pack to maintain speed and pressure until the prey collapses from exhaustion. This relentless, cooperative approach yields remarkable results, success rates as high as 80%, far surpassing those of solitary or less coordinated hunters. After the kill, a strict social order governs feeding. Pups and injured members are given priority, with adults regurgitating food for those unable to feed themselves, reinforcing the pack's unity and resilience. Each of these predators is shaped by the demands of its environment and the limitations of its own design, facing a unique set of challenges in the unforgiving African wilderness. The cheetah, for all its speed, is lightly built and lacks the strength to defend its catch, often forced to surrender its hard-won meal to more powerful rivals like lions and hyenas. Its specialization for speed comes at the expense of power and protection, making every hunt a gamble between success and loss. The leopard, ever solitary, must depend solely on its own cunning and strength, with no allies to assist in times of danger or scarcity. For wild dogs, the pack is both shield and sword. Yet if disease, conflict, or accident reduces their numbers, their intricate hunting strategy unravels, leaving them exposed and inefficient. A diminished pack struggles to coordinate, and their ability to bring down prey plummets, threatening the survival of every member. For these specialized hunters, survival is a delicate balance. Each must exploit its unique strengths while constantly adapting to the ever-shifting challenges of Africa's wild heart. The Namibia Desert, stretching along Africa's southwestern coast, is not only one of the oldest deserts on Earth, dating back at least 55 million years, but also among the driest, with some regions receiving less than 2 millimeters of rain annually. Its landscape is a mesmerizing tapestry of towering red dunes, gravel plains, and rugged mountains, shaped by relentless winds and searing sunlight. Temperatures here can swing from freezing at night to blistering during the day, creating an environment that seems utterly inhospitable. Yet beneath this harsh exterior, life has evolved astonishing adaptations, each species unlocking a unique secret to endure the extremes. Survival in the Namibia desert hinges on two precious resources: water and heat. Here, even the air itself can be a source of moisture. Coastal fog, drifting in from the Atlantic, provides a lifeline for many plants and animals, condensing on leaves and stones before evaporating with the morning sun. The oryx, or gemsbok, is a true desert icon, its pale coat reflecting sunlight, its long, straight horns a formidable defense. This antelope can allow its body temperature to rise to over 45 degrees Celsius, avoiding the need to sweat and thus conserving precious water. A specialized network of blood vessels in its nasal passages cools the blood before it reaches the brain, preventing heat stroke. The oryx's kidneys are so efficient that it can survive for weeks without drinking, extracting moisture from roots, bulbs, and even dew. It feeds on tough desert grasses and succulent plants, some of which store water in their tissues or grow deep taproots to access hidden moisture. Even the mighty elephant has found ways to endure here. Namibia's desert elephants are leaner, with longer legs and larger feet that distribute their weight, allowing them to traverse shifting sands with ease. Their feet act like natural snowshoes, and their wrinkled skin helps trap moisture and regulate body temperature. These elephants can travel over 70 kilometers in a single day in search of food and water. Family groups are small, led by a matriarch whose memory is a living map of the desert's hidden waterholes and seasonal food sources. Her knowledge is vital for the survival of her kin. She can detect the faintest scent of water beneath the surface, guiding her family to ancient riverbeds where they dig wells with their trunks, feet, and tusks. These wells become oases for a host of other animals: zebra, springbok, ostrich, and even predators, each drawn by the promise of water in a parched land. Predators, too, must adapt to the desert's demands. The desert lion is smaller and lighter in color than its savanna relatives, its pale coat blending with the sands and reflecting heat. These lions roam vast territories, sometimes exceeding 300 square kilometers, tracking prey across the dunes and timing their hunts for the cooler hours of dawn and dusk. Along the Skeleton Coast they have learned to hunt seals and seabirds, supplementing their diet with marine life and surviving for weeks on the fluids from their kills. The black rhinoceros, a symbol of resilience, has carved out a niche in this arid world. Its prehensile lip allows it to browse on thorny shrubs and tough desert plants. It can consume over 200 plant species, including some that are toxic to other animals, and can go for days without drinking, relying on the moisture in its food. Small creatures have evolved equally ingenious strategies. The fog-basking beetle climbs to the crest of dunes at dawn, raising its body to catch moisture from the fog, which condenses and runs down to its mouth. Meerkats, social sentinels of the desert, emerge at sunrise to forage for insects, scorpions, and roots, taking advantage of the brief coolness before the heat intensifies. Their complex social structure includes sentries who scan for predators, using a sophisticated system of alarm calls to distinguish between threats from the sky and those on the ground. When danger is spotted, the sentry's call triggers an instant response. Meerkats dash for the safety of their burrows, each call tailored to the type of predator detected. Cooperation is their greatest asset. Meerkats share the duties of digging, babysitting, and teaching the young, proving that in the Namibia desert, survival is not just about individual adaptation, but about the strength of community and the wisdom of nature's most ingenious survivors. For millions of years, Africa's wild creatures have adapted to the continent's shifting climate, unpredictable droughts, and the ever-present threat of predators. Their survival strategies have been honed by natural forces, competition, scarcity, and the relentless cycle of life and death. But now Africa's wildlife faces a new era of uncertainty, marked by challenges that are both unfamiliar and rapidly evolving. These threats are not just about survival of the fittest, but about adapting to a world that is changing in ways nature never anticipated. The illegal trade in animal parts, such as rhino horn and elephant ivory, has driven some of Africa's most iconic species to the edge. These animals now face relentless pressure from organized criminal networks, which operate with increasing sophistication. Poachers employ advanced technology, including night vision and drones, making it harder for wildlife to find safe havens. The constant threat has forced animals to alter their behaviors, becoming more nocturnal or seeking refuge in less suitable habitats. Predators and prey alike must now navigate a landscape where the greatest dangers are no longer natural but artificial and unpredictable. Habitat loss is accelerating. As forests shrink and grasslands are fragmented, this reduces the availability of food and water, forcing animals to travel greater distances and increasing the risk of conflict with other species. The expansion of farmland and infrastructure disrupts ancient migration routes, leaving herds stranded and unable to reach traditional breeding or feeding grounds. As natural habitats are converted, the delicate balance between species is upset. Birds lose nesting sites, insects lose pollination corridors, and predators find their hunting grounds diminished. Barriers such as fences and roads not only block migration, but also isolate populations, making it harder for animals to find mates and maintain healthy genetic diversity. For wide-ranging species, these obstacles can mean the difference between survival and extinction, as they become trapped in shrinking pockets of suitable habitat. Invasive species, introduced accidentally or deliberately, outcompete native plants and animals. This disrupts food webs and can lead to the decline of species that have thrived for millennia. The arrival of new herbivores, such as dromedary camels, intensifies competition for limited resources, putting additional strain on native species like the oryx, especially during times of drought. Infrastructure, such as power lines and roads, introduces hazards that animals have never encountered before. Birds collide with wires, and mammals are forced to cross dangerous open spaces. Collisions and entanglements are now a leading cause of injury and death for many species, further reducing already vulnerable populations. Pollution, especially plastic waste, contaminates water sources and food supplies. Animals ingest or become entangled in debris, often with fatal results. Even a single plastic bag can pose a deadly risk, as curious animals mistake it for food, leading to blockages or poisoning. The cumulative effect of these pressures is a landscape where every day brings new and unpredictable dangers, challenging the resilience of Africa's wildlife in unprecedented ways. Yet amidst these challenges, nature's adaptability offers a glimmer of hope. Some species are learning to exploit new food sources, alter migration patterns, or change their social structures in response to shifting conditions. Conservationists are studying these adaptations, seeking ways to support wildlife through habitat restoration, the removal of invasive species, and the creation of safe corridors for movement. Protected areas and reserves provide critical refuges, allowing populations to recover and ecosystems to function more naturally, even as the world around them changes. Advanced tracking and monitoring technologies help researchers understand how animals are coping, enabling more effective conservation strategies tailored to each species' unique needs. Sustainable tourism and community-led conservation projects are demonstrating that wildlife can thrive when local people benefit from their protection, fostering coexistence and stewardship. The future of Africa's wild places will depend on the ability of both animals and people to adapt to these new realities. By understanding and addressing these unpredictable challenges, we can help ensure that Africa's extraordinary wildlife endures for generations to come. In the intricate tapestry of Africa's wild places, every thread, no matter how small or unassuming, plays a vital role in sustaining the whole. While the majestic lions, towering elephants, and elegant giraffes often capture our imagination, their very existence is woven together with the fates of countless other species, each performing a unique function within the ecosystem. The survival of these icons depends on the hidden work of smaller mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and even the tiniest invertebrates, all of which contribute to the balance and resilience of the savanna. Africa's ecosystem is a living network where energy and nutrients flow through a complex web of interactions, predation, competition, symbiosis, and mutualism, each connection strengthening the fabric of life. Remove just one thread, and the consequences can ripple outward, destabilizing the entire system in ways both immediate and subtle. Even the smallest creatures, like termites, ants, and beetles, are keystones, aerating the soil, decomposing organic matter, and recycling nutrients essential for plant growth. Take the humble dung beetle, for example, a master recycler whose daily labor shapes the very landscape. By rolling, burying, and consuming dung, these beetles not only fertilize the soil, but also facilitate seed dispersal, control parasites, and maintain the health of grazing lands. Their activity ensures that nutrients are cycled efficiently, supporting the lush grasses that feed antelope, zebra, and wildebeest, and ultimately the predators that depend on them. Without dung beetles, the savanna would quickly become choked with waste, grasses would wither, and the entire food chain would falter. Scavengers like vultures and hyenas are nature's cleanup crew, swiftly consuming carcasses that would otherwise harbor disease and attract pests. Their efficiency in recycling nutrients not only prevents outbreaks of illness, but also returns vital elements to the soil, fueling new cycles of growth. Predators, from the stealthy leopard to the swift cheetah, regulate herbivore populations, ensuring that no single species overwhelms the landscape. By targeting the vulnerable, the old, the sick, the injured, they promote genetic health and prevent overgrazing, which could devastate plant communities and lead to famine. This natural selection strengthens prey populations, allowing only the fittest to thrive and reproduce. In the absence of predators, herbivores would multiply unchecked, stripping the land bare and triggering a collapse that would echo through every level of the ecosystem. The mere presence of predators keeps herds moving, preventing overuse of any one area and allowing vegetation time to recover. Interactions between species are equally vital. Oxpeckers remove parasites from buffalo, while honey guides lead honey badgers to beehives, benefiting both parties. Elephants, the architects of the savanna, open up woodlands, create waterholes, and disperse seeds over vast distances, shaping habitats for countless other creatures. Grazers like zebra and wildebeest often travel together, their different feeding habits allowing them to utilize the same grasslands without exhausting resources. The health of predator populations is directly tied to the abundance and well-being of their prey, creating a feedback loop that maintains equilibrium. Even the rains, the soil, and the sun are part of this grand equation, setting the rhythm for migrations, breeding, and the renewal of life. Seasonal changes trigger migrations, synchronize births, and dictate the availability of food and water, ensuring that life persists through cycles of abundance and scarcity. From the tiniest ant to the largest elephant, every species is a vital cog in the machinery of the wild, each with a role that cannot be replaced. The survival of each is bound to the survival of all, a profound truth in Africa's wilderness, where every creature, no matter its size or fame, is essential to the enduring harmony of life. Gap 2s. Across Africa's vast and varied landscapes, survival demands more than strength or speed. It requires remarkable ingenuity. In the face of ever-changing climates, unpredictable droughts, and shifting habitats, some of the continent's most extraordinary species have honed the art of adaptation, evolving specialized traits and behaviors that enable them to endure where others cannot. Consider the African lungfish, a creature perfectly designed for resilience. When seasonal rains vanish and rivers shrink to cracked clay beds, this ancient fish burrows deep into the mud, secreting a mucus cocoon around itself. In this self-made capsule, the lungfish slows its metabolism to a near standstill, breathing air through a primitive lung and waiting patiently for the return of water, sometimes for years. This astonishing adaptation transforms a fragile fish into a master of survival, able to outlast the harshest dry spells. Elsewhere, in the shimmering salt pans of the Makadi, flamingos gather in spectacular flocks, timing their breeding with the brief appearance of shallow alkaline waters. Their specialized beaks filter microscopic algae and brine shrimp, extracting nourishment from an environment too harsh for most. The flamingo's unique physiology allows them to thrive where few others dare, painting the landscape pink with life. On the parched savannas, the oryx, a striking antelope, has evolved to withstand searing heat. Its pale coat reflects sunlight, while a network of specialized blood vessels cools its brain as it grazes under the blazing sun. By conserving water and tolerating high body temperatures, the oryx survives days without drinking, a living testament to nature's inventive solutions. Even the tiny Namib desert beetle demonstrates the power of adaptation. Climbing to the crest of windswept dunes, it faces into the fog, using its textured back to capture precious droplets of moisture, harvesting water from the air itself. This ingenious strategy sustains the beetle through months of drought, a microcosm of survival in one of the world's oldest deserts. These stories of adaptation underscore a fundamental truth. Africa's wildlife is not merely surviving, but constantly innovating. Through evolution's endless creativity, each species finds its own way to endure the continent's formidable challenges. In these ingenious adaptations, we see the ultimate expression of life's determination, not just to exist, but to thrive against the odds. In the relentless theatre of Africa's wild, survival is not a solo endeavour. It is often orchestrated through a silent, sophisticated language. From the dense forests to the open plains, animals have developed remarkable ways to communicate, share warnings, and coordinate their actions, all without uttering a single word. Consider the low, infrasonic rumbles of elephants, vibrations that travel for kilometers beneath the ground. These seismic signals, undetectable to predators and human ears, allow distant herds to relay information about water sources, danger, or even the birth of a new calf. This deep, secretive language binds the herd together, ensuring their collective safety as they traverse the savanna. On the grasslands, the impala's alarm snort is a sharp, unmistakable call, an instant alert that sends others bounding for cover. But beyond sound, impalas and many antelope species rely on visual cues. The flash of a white tail or a sudden freeze, warning companions of a lurking threat. These subtle gestures can mean the difference between life and death. Birds, too, are master communicators. The fork-tailed drongo, for instance, uses a repertoire of alarm calls, sometimes even mimicking the warnings of other species. By spreading the news of danger, drongos not only protect themselves, but also manipulate the behaviors of other animals to their advantage, snatching food in the resulting confusion. Even the smallest creatures have a role in this intricate web. Dwarf mongooses and hornbills form unlikely alliances, exchanging chirps and whistles as they forage together. When one spots a predator, it sounds the alarm, and both species benefit from the shared vigilance. Communication in Africa's wild is a survival secret as vital as camouflage or speed. Through calls, gestures, and vibrations, animals coordinate, deceive, and protect. This silent language, ever-evolving and endlessly complex, is a testament to the power of connection in the struggle to endure. In every rustle, rumble, and warning call, the wild speaks, a code as old as Africa itself. In the vast and unforgiving wilds of Africa, blending in can mean the difference between life and death. Camouflage, nature's ancient survival strategy, offers countless species the ultimate shield invisibility. Here, every pattern, color, and contour is a calculated move in the eternal chess game between predator and prey. On the rocky outcrops of the savanna, the klipspringer antelope is a master of stillness and stealth. Its dappled, earth-toned coat mirrors the sunlit stones, allowing it to vanish in plain sight. By freezing atop narrow ledges, it becomes almost indistinguishable from the land itself, evading the keen eyes of leopards lurking below. In the tangled undergrowth, the African leaf-tailed gecko is an artist of deception. Its skin mimics the mottled texture of decaying leaves, complete with veins and notches. During the day, it presses flat against branches, its outline lost in a tapestry of shadows and shapes. For this small reptile, invisibility is not just a tactic, it's a way of life. Predators, too, have honed this craft. The lioness, with her tawny fur, melts into the tall gold grasses, stalking within meters of her quarry before launching a deadly ambush. Even the formidable Nile crocodile, cloaked in algae and river mud, becomes a floating log, waiting motionless for hours, patience rewarded by a single careless step from its prey. But camouflage is not limited to color alone. The African praying mantis sways gently, mimicking the rhythm of wind-blown twigs. The puff adder, covered in cryptic markings, burrows beneath leaf litter, its presence betrayed only by the faintest shimmer of scales. This constant game of hide-and-seek shapes every moment in Africa's wild. For every hunter there is a hider, for every ambush a counter-strategy of concealment. Here the art of disguise is not just survival, it is perfection, sculpted by evolution and tested by time. In the end, to see the wild is to know that the most extraordinary stories are often those hidden, waiting to be discovered by the patient and the observant, where camouflage is both a cloak and a silent promise of life. Across the vast tapestry of Africa, a different kind of adaptation unfolds, not in the shadows or with a change of color, but in the very structures animals build. Here, the wild is shaped not only by tooth and claw, but by the remarkable ingenuity of its smallest architects. In the heart of the Savanna, towering above the grass, stand the monumental creations of the African termite. Working as a collective, millions of tiny insects sculpt intricate mounds that rise meters above the ground, natural skyscrapers engineered for survival. Each mound is a fortress, with a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers that regulate temperature and humidity, sheltering the colony from the blazing sun and sudden storms. These architectural marvels are not just homes for termites, they become bustling ecosystems, attracting snakes, lizards, and even burrowing mammals seeking refuge. Beneath the acacia trees, sociable weaver birds weave another kind of wonder. Using blades of dry grass, they construct massive communal nests, some of the largest on Earth. These woven fortresses, suspended from thorny branches, house generations of families, providing warmth on freezing nights and shade from the relentless midday sun. The structure's many chambers offer protection from predators and create a thriving neighborhood high above the ground. In the wetlands, the African cichlid fish reveal their own mastery of construction. With a flick of their fins, males meticulously arrange grains of sand and tiny pebbles, creating elaborate circular nests on the lakebed. These underwater sculptures become arenas for courtship, their complexity a testament to the builder's fitness. Here, architecture is not just about survival, but about attracting a mate and passing on genes to the next generation. Even the industrious naked mole rat, deep underground, carves out a subterranean metropolis of tunnels and chambers. Within this hidden world, every passage and chamber serves a purpose, from nurseries to food storage, ensuring the colony thrives in an environment where few others could survive. Throughout Africa, these animal-built structures stand as silent witnesses to the power of adaptation. Whether towering above the plains or hidden beneath the earth, they are testaments to creativity and resilience. In the wild, building is not just a means of shelter, it is survival, written in mud, grass and sand, and passed down through generations. In these remarkable homes, the spirit of Africa's wild architects endures, shaping the land as much as the land shapes them. Across Africa's wild heart, one challenge rises above all others, an ancient, relentless force that shapes every life it touches, the cycle of drought and rain. For months the sun blazes unyielding, rivers wither to dust, and the land cracks under the weight of thirst. Here, survival is not just about evading predators or building shelter, but about enduring the merciless pulse of the seasons. In the Kalahari, springbok gather at the last shrinking waterholes, their numbers swelling as scattered herds converge. Competition is fierce. Each animal must weigh risk and reward, approach the muddy pools and face lurking crocodiles, or wander further and risk collapse from dehydration. Elephants, Africa's largest land mammals, become engineers of hope, Using their tusks and powerful trunks, they dig deep into dry riverbeds, unearthing hidden water reserves. These makeshift wells not only save their own herds, but offer lifelines to warthogs, antelope, and even flocks of birds desperate for a drink. But not all can move with the herds. The resilient African bullfrog buries itself deep beneath the parched earth, encased in a cocoon of mucus that locks in moisture. For months it waits, heartbeat slowed, body dormant, until the rains return and the world above erupts with life once again. In the arid savannas, acacia trees drop their leaves and retreat into a state of suspended animation, conserving every drop of precious water. Their deep roots probe for underground moisture, while their thorns deter any animal desperate enough to strip their branches bare. Some, like the sandgrouse, have evolved ingenious ways to bridge the gap between scarcity and abundance. Males fly vast distances to distant water sources, soaking their belly feathers, then return to the nest, where thirsty chicks drink from their plumage, a living conduit between water and life. When at last the rains break, the land transforms in a matter of days. Seeds, dormant for years, burst into bloom. Wildebeest calves take their first trembling steps on emerald plains. For every creature, survival is written in cycles of waiting, enduring, and seizing the moment when life returns. In Africa, the greatest architect may be time itself. Through drought and deluge, every adaptation is a story of patience, resilience, and the will to begin again.